If you want to know how Kajabi versus Thinkific versus Teachable compare when it comes to online course creation, providing live coaching, and helping you to deliver your membership programs, then keep watching, because in this video, you'll discover what each platform provides their users for digital product creation and access options, and which is the best online platform for what you are looking to create and sell. And before I forget, if you haven't watched part 1 of this series yet, be sure to go and check it out after this video to discover more details that will help you to find the best platform for your needs. And if you want to be notified as I release additional videos in this Kajabi versus Thinkific versus Teachable series, or if you want to discover additional tips, tricks, and resources to enhance your results creating or expanding a business online, then be sure to click the subscribe button and smash that notification bell so you don't miss my future videos. In case you haven't seen my other videos before, I'm Dexx, and I've been selling and marketing digital products online since 2007. I've also helped hundreds of other business owners to create and expand their businesses online using a variety of platforms. If you're like me, you're probably skeptical of review videos like this because you think there might be an affiliate partner bias based on links in the description below the video. Not to worry. I'm an affiliate partner for Kajabi, Thinkific, and Teachable, so this will probably be the most unbiased review video you can find comparing all 3 of them. I've identified 5 key platform categories that you should focus on when trying to find the right platform for your needs. So let's talk about the 5 key platform categories. There's success structures, product creation, communication capability, marketing capability, and selling capability. In the first video of this series, I talked about the success structures. So in this second video, we'll be talking about product creation. When it comes to product creation using Kajabi versus Teachable versus Thinkific, it's important to realize that all of them have video hosting. All of them have the capability to download videos if you choose so that they can access it offline, etc. They can all allow for comments and discussion in the lessons themselves, and each platform has the ability to do dripping of content, which means if you want someone to have access day 3, and then a new lesson on day 5, and then a new lesson on day 7, you can do that. That's across the board. Here's where they stand out with their differences. So for example, with product types, Kajabi allows for multiple different course types. You can have short mini courses. You can have more comprehensive courses. You can have the ability to have a course with only a few modules, and each module has its own page, etc. And I will show a demonstration of what I mean shortly and how it compares. But they also have memberships. They also allow for advanced live coaching. So here's why that's so key is that unlike a lot of the other platforms that will offer coaching and say, they have live coaching, most of the time those are simply just like a Zoom call that's embedded into a post, but there's no real coaching features. Whereas with Kajabi, you actually have the ability to set agendas for specific students in the coaching program. You also have the ability to have attachments that they can upload, that you can provide them, and you can also ensure that each session allows them to schedule it in advance. I will show a demonstration of that shortly. There's also private communities. So instead of hosting your course or program on Facebook for having a community, you could have a private community inside of Kajabi. All right, so here I am inside of Kajabi. On the left, you can see that they've got a navigation section called products, where you can access all products, where they kind of give you some examples here, as well as podcasts and coaching. And yes, that's right, you can sell access to your own private podcasting stream, or you can do it through a generic public one, which is what I usually recommend, and I will cover that in the marketing section in the next video coming up. There's also the coaching, which we'll talk about, but here on the screen, you can see that you can create a course that is either a mini course, online course, drip course, a membership, which would probably have a subscription to it, or a community product. Now, the reason why I referred to Kajabi as having multiple course types is because, let's say, for example, we were to go into a mini course template that's just created for us. Here you can see that you've got one section, two section, couple lessons inside. Let's say you wanted to create a quick course that had 3 to 4 lessons, then maybe you don't want a large kind of appearance to your course. You might want something that's very minimalistic and streamlined. Well, in part 1 of this series, I mentioned that Kajabi has different looks for their courses. And here you can see that this is one version of that mini course, where you can have a video and some text, and then all of the lessons can be one after another. And that's just on this theme. Each theme has its own appearance, but you can have comments for each section. You can have audio, photos, videos, you name it. You can also then have the different categories. So as we saw, there was a downloads or resources section, and you could just keep on doing that over here. So you can have a mini course that doesn't look overwhelming, that looks really easy to consume. Or you can look at that same mini course and pick a completely different theme that is also appearing very easy to consume. So here's the dashboard of a different theme that has those same sections laid out with the posts. And if you click into it, you can see this is the lesson. I put up a little demo video, and you can add or show or hide this course contents on the side here, etc. So that's a mini course. Now we could take a look at a full course, a more comprehensive course, and here we can see that now you've got multiple sections with multiple lessons inside. And if we wanted to have an appearance that represented that, you could pick a theme that had a more full course look to it, such as what you're looking at on the screen. So you could have a dashboard that has a welcome message, information, categories easily shown. You could have announcements about any updates to the content, etc. And on the left, you can see the different lessons that are easy to access, which if you were to click into, we can see that, for example, this one just has text in it, or over here, there's a little icon for a video because I put that demo video inside of it. So now you've got a video with some text and comments. So when I mentioned that Kajabi has multiple course types, it's because you can choose if you want to have a full looking course, or if you want something that's a bit more simpler, or if you want something that's truly minimalistic. So here I am inside of the coaching section of the products. Here is where you would create your coaching program, your coaching products. So you would click Get Started, and you could choose a single session or a package. Maybe you're offering a orientation session, a bonus coaching session with whatever you're offering, or perhaps you're offering a package. So you could click a package, for example, set up your demo, continue, and now you have the option of how many sessions you want to offer. So I could do a 5-session coaching program. I could integrate it with Calendly, or I could use a custom link to a third-party booking software, or maybe I'm booking it offline for, like, let's say a therapist office or a physiotherapist practice where people can come in for training, etc. So you've got multiple options there. You click finish, and just like that, you're ready to go with your coaching package. You can add a thumbnail if you want, so that when your students are accessing it, they can see it a bit easier. But here you go. You can create your package outline, which will allow you to have all of your sessions simply laid out. You can have a session description of what will be covered in that session or what the plan is, and then a list of agenda items that you'll cover, along with resources that your coaching student or whoever could download. So the benefit of this is the fact that when someone logs into your Kajabi portal and goes to the coaching packages, they would be able to, from their side of things, this is your demo package. They could go into all of their sessions, and then from within each session, they would have the ability to schedule either through Calendly or whatever third-party app, or just say they're interested in booking a session. They would have a list of what would be covered in that session, any notes that was discussed, and you can have your own private notes, as well as any resources that they might need for that session. So maybe you have a downloadable book or an exercise PDF, or maybe you have some videos you want them to watch. So the reason why I wanted to show this is because you have a true coaching experience that you can offer through Kajabi, and you'll see how that differs compared to the other platforms. Now, with Teachable, they have basic courses, memberships, and basic live coaching. So I'll show a demonstration of what I mean right now. So here I am inside of the Teachable dashboard. It has a rather simple approach. You either have the ability to create a new course product or coaching product. If you choose to create a new course product, you'll end up in an administration section like this, where on the left, you can see the different settings for the course, and you can choose the curriculum, which defaults to this layout. So unlike with Kajabi, you don't get provided example structure posts and categories. You build it from essentially scratch. You do have the ability to change the dashboard of your curriculum page. So for example, this homepage that you're seeing here is this. So I could change it to this one and this one. And that's just the dashboard though. At the end of the day, all of your lessons will end up looking like this type of format. Now, I put a default video just so you could see something and not just see completely blank screens. But essentially, all of your content will look the exact same with Teachable. Now, going into the coaching product, you can see here that you have a rather straightforward setup for your information. You can also integrate it with Calendly. However, when it comes to your actual coaching product, this is essentially how it's going to look for your clients. They'll log in and it'll say, whatever you change it to appear, and you essentially set coaching milestones. And then inside of here, you can place a link for the coaching session itself. So once again, it's basic coaching. And as I said before, it's very basic course structure. There's not really any flexibility when it comes to the structure, the appearance, the delivery of your content. And finally, with Thinkific, you have basic courses, memberships, basic live lessons, and private communities as well. And here I am inside of the Thinkific backend. So if you are looking to create a new course, you are presented with these kind of options similar to Kajabi to help you kind of get started. Pretty much each one of these will lead to the same back end structure. However, it will come with preloaded kind of content to help you add things along the way. Here's what I mean. Inside of the mini course backend, you can see that they come with preloaded templates that kind of show you, hey, here's how you should build a mini course. And then, as you can see here, they have different chapters that you can use to, one, add a video. Then you've got some information for how to use the course before we begin. So this is essentially prompting you for your content. So Kajabi and Thinkific are very similar in this way. Both of them have the course options to help you get started. When I referred to Thinkific having basic courses, what I meant is that all of their courses have the exact same appearance. So whereas we saw with Kajabi, you could have a drastically different and minimalistic look to, say, a mini course that maybe you only want it all on one page, or you want it in a couple of different short posts. With Thinkific, whether you have a mini course or a flagship course, regardless of how much content you have in your course, it's going to have the exact same appearance on the screen. So that is why I refer to this as a basic course, because essentially all of their courses look the same. It's just a matter of them prompting you with how to kind of fill in a mini course as opposed to a full flagship course. And the membership product is similar. It just prompts you for kind of what to put in for all of these chapters. Similar to Kajabi, but it doesn't have the visible flexibility of different course types. Now, when we talk about the ability to do live coaching, as you can see, it's not on here. The reason being is it's actually included within the lessons themselves. So you would actually come into whatever course structure you picked, and you would add a live lesson to it, where you would be prompted to connect to Zoom. What would then happen is inside of your mini course, inside of the post, there would be a button to join a live Zoom session. So essentially, just like how Kajabi has live events, Thinkific does live lessons. The difference being that Kajabi provides live events included on all plans, where Thinkific, you have to pay for the additional higher up plan in order to get access to the live lessons. And again, it's important to realize it's a live lesson, not live coaching. So this would not be a one-on-one solution. This would essentially be like doing a webinar inside of your lesson that allows your students to join in and watch and then maybe upload the replay after. So if you're looking for coaching, then you would be looking at either Kajabi or Teachable for a solution. Now, when it comes to the private communities, both with Kajabi and with Thinkific, they're really not that spectacular. They're really both very basic. Yes, you can host a private community. However, both platforms will actually recommend that you use a different company called Circle.so, I believe it is, which is kind of like a community-focused platform that they will integrate with. So keep it in mind, while Kajabi and Thinkific offer private communities, neither one of them have a spectacular community feature, and you most likely will use either Facebook or a third party that's more dedicated for that feature. Then there's the setup options. So with the product creation setup options, you will notice that with Kajabi, they have done for you product templates. And if you're wondering what that means, I will show you right now. So here I am inside of Kajabi. Now, I touched on this in part 1 of this series, but again, Kajabi has done for you product templates, themes, essentially, so that even if you aren't a designer, you can put out a product that appears like it should be a premium product, that it is worthy of being a premium price. Here's what I mean. So inside of any product, you can just click on customize, click up to pick a theme, or you could upload a theme. And inside, you have the ability to choose from a pre-selection of professional themes, templates that you can use to make your products, your courses, your memberships look absolutely stunning, even if you aren't a designer. So for example, if we wanted to use this Warren theme, maybe it's some sort of, business product or course or whatever, you might want something that emphasizes more images. Maybe it's something to do with marketing or sales, and you really want to showcase that. Well, you can pick this theme, and inside each one of these represents your categories, and then you have a lesson. And your lessons look completely different, even from the examples that I showed you previously in this video. So that is something that I found really cool, is that even without having to hire a designer or being a designer, you can have a vast array of professional templates to choose from to make each one of your products look drastically different, not just from each other, but from other users of the platform. That is something that is not possible with Thinkific and Teachable. Kajabi also allows for the creation of prerequisite lessons, which means that someone can't continue to lesson 2 until they complete lesson 1. They can't do lesson 3 until they complete lesson 2. And you can make that dependent on them just going through the content or completing a quiz, etc. Kajabi also allows for something called subcategories. All right, so I'm back here inside of the Kajabi dashboard, and I'm inside one of the products, one of the courses that I demonstrated before, except this time I've updated it to something that might represent, say, a seminar, or maybe you have a product where you want to have multiple products in one course, like a bundle, and then inside of that course, that bundle, organize it into subcategories. So as you can see here, we have our different sections right up front, our categories. Now, what you have the ability to do is when you click add content, you can either add a post or you can add a subcategory. Why would you want to add a subcategory is, for example, let's say we had a seminar or a workshop that was going over multiple days. Well, on the Monday, we might want to break up the content into a morning session and the afternoon session. Now, you could have all of them just lined up here, just in the one section. But for organizational purposes, your students might find it better if you break it into subcategories, which would then let you have the 3 morning sessions of the Monday right here, and then you could have the afternoon session in its own post within that subcategory. Here's how it would look for your students. As you can see, you've got your Monday sessions, you've got the main post for that Monday session, which you could watch, and then you have a breakdown of subcategories that still help with organizational flow before you get into the Tuesday sessions. Kajabi also allows for you to have access time limits placed on the content in your courses. So when someone purchases one of your courses, maybe you only want to give them access for a week, for 30 days, for 1 year, or for a lifetime. It's up to you, but there may be situations where you want to limit access. Kajabi allows for that. And you can create members only pages in Kajabi. So without having to use a product spot, I guess you could say, in the account, you can just say, hey, I want to host this on a page in my account, but I only want people who have a student access or a membership to be able to access this page. It just won't have all the features of a full product, if that makes sense. Then there's Teachable. So Teachable is very minimalistic when it comes to their setup options. Essentially, you only have the ability to limit access to lessons based on completion of a video, completion of a quiz, etc. There's no other kind of elaborate setup options when it comes to Teachable. And then with Thinkific, once again, we have a bit more flexibility in our setup options. You have the ability to create free preview lessons. So for example, let's say you've got 5 or 10 lessons in an online course that you created. You can actually set up in Thinkific to make lesson 1 or lesson 2, etc. free. So someone could sign up for free, get access to those first 2 lessons, and then they would pay to get access to the remaining lessons, which is a pretty cool feature. You also can do hidden and private courses, which, I mean, realistically, you can do the same with Kajabi and Teachable. It just means it's not listed for public purchase. You would have to let people know how to access the offer link to get access to the course. It won't show up in your store. You can do prerequisite lessons with Thinkific. However, that's only on the higher paid plans. You can't do that on the free or lower tier. You have the ability to do an access time limit, just like Kajabi. So if someone purchases your course, they only get access to it for a certain amount of time. However, that's only if you use the Thinkific payment gateway and not using PayPal or Stripe. So you are limited to that feature unless you use their specific gateway. And then you also have members only pages similar to Kajabi. When it comes to Kajabi versus Thinkific versus Teachable, there's a lot of online course creation features I could cover in more detail. Which online course creation feature would you like me to do a comparison video about in the future? Let me know in the comments below. And finally, we have the learning resources. This would be the ability to create resources and material to enhance the learning for the students that go through your courses. Now, each platform, Kajabi, Teachable, and Thinkific, do offer similar capabilities as it relates to downloading of files. So you could provide like a transcript of the video. You could upload an audio version that you want people to download, PDFs, worksheets, etc. All the platforms allow for that. That's where the similarities basically stop. From there, Kajabi offers assessments with grading. So this would be like quizzes that you could put in, or a survey that you can put in to your course. However, with Kajabi, it also allows you to place those same assessments on a sales page or landing page. So here's where that's really cool. You could have a landing page, say for your students or prospective students who want to apply for a coaching program or your course, that they would have to answer a series of questions, maybe multiple choice, maybe text, and you can also have them upload information, videos, audio, photos, a PDF workbook, whatever, and maybe you use that to decide who you want to accept into a course, into a coaching program, whatever. You can do the exact same thing inside of your products. So at the end of a lesson or a module, maybe you have them download a PDF, complete it, upload the results, or maybe you've walked them through how to do something and you want them to upload a video of the results. You name it, a lot of flexibility there. You also have the ability to do grading. So you can say, hey, I want to make sure you are actually understanding this information, answer these questions about this lesson, and based on them passing with the correct answers, that's how they would move on to the next module or next subcategory. Now, another feature that's really cool and really unique amongst the platforms is Kajabi allows for tagging of assessment responses. So for example, in my first example, I said that you could have someone apply for your program. So you could say, hey, welcome to my dog training course. Do you have a small dog, medium dog, large dog? Now, if someone says, I've got a medium dog, you can use Kajabi's built-in automations to tag that answer and say, student A has a medium dog. Put a tag. So now you can now send out future messages or whatever based off of people who have medium tags for their dogs get this email sequence, or they get added to this product or whatever. And it just lets you have more information about your students and allows you to do more automations based on their responses. Or if someone is going through a quiz and they put a specific answer, maybe you want to tag them because that was a red flag answer or whatever. Just a lot of cool flexibility there. And as I said, you have the ability to do student uploads. With Teachable, you don't have the ability to do student uploads, but you can do basic quizzes. So you can do multiple choice. You can do a way of confirming that they're understanding the material that they're going through. However, if you want to do graded quizzes, you have to upgrade to an enhanced plan. It's not available on the lower plan. Now, the cool thing about Teachable and with Thinkific is they have built-in completion certificates that you can use so that when someone completes a course, you can automatically send them out a certificate. Now, while Kajabi doesn't have that built into their platform, they do make available a resource where it's free that they integrate with that will send out the certificates for you. So while Kajabi doesn't have their own native certificate functionality, there is a free option you can use to achieve the same thing. But with Teachable, there's no student uploads, and that to me, that's unfortunate. And maybe I'm missing it, but I spent an hour trying to find the ability, searching through the help, and I still couldn't figure it out. So that's frustrating. With Thinkific, you do have the file downloads, as I mentioned, and you have a bit more options when it comes to the quizzes, assessments, surveys, and polls. While you have assessments with Kajabi, Thinkific allows you to do a couple more cool things, like your multiple choice answers can have images as well as text, stuff like that. So just looks nicer, I guess you could say. Kajabi's assessment feature looks really basic, though functionality-wise, it does the job. But Thinkific does have the certificates, and it does allow for student upload. A couple questions that have come in before, as it relates to the security of your content on these platforms and the ownership. All three platforms have top-notch security features. And in terms of the content, you own your own content with all of the platforms. So you don't have to worry about Kajabi or Teachable or Thinkific trying to steal your content away from you. If you leave any of the platforms, the content that you had uploaded still belongs to you, etc. All three platforms allow for bulk uploads of your content. So if you've got multiple videos, multiple lessons, maybe you're moving over from another platform, you have the ability to upload them all to make it much easier and quicker to get going. Yeah, so there's that. So as it relates to which is the best platform for you, keep in mind that with Kajabi, you have various courses, as I showed, so you can have various kind of setups and structures. You do have memberships in all three platforms, but with Kajabi, you have the advanced live coaching. So if that's something you're looking to do now or in the future, keep that in mind. And you do have the private community groups with Teachable, basic courses, memberships, and the live coaching is essentially just an embedded video in one of your lessons that people would then click on to access Zoom or whatever you're doing. Same thing goes with Thinkific. Basic courses, memberships, live lessons, but the live lessons are on a much higher paid plan, and their private communities are also on a higher paid plan. Both on Kajabi and Thinkific, private community feature, meh, nothing too fancy. Now, one thing that I see come up time and time again is this big deal being made about, Kajabi has limited products. On the lowest plan, you can have 3. On the highest plan, you can have 100 products. If you get the Kajabi Access feature added on for a couple bucks a month, it's doubling your products. So you can have up to 200 products with Kajabi. Okay, well, with Teachable and Thinkific, you get unlimited products. And I see a lot of people talking about, well, Teachable and Thinkific give you unlimited products. I want unlimited products. But find me an example of someone who's doing $1 million or more, or even several $100,000s with their digital courses, who has hundreds of courses. Most of the people that you are seeing who are crushing it with their digital products maybe have less than 10 real full courses, maybe including their mini courses and free products, they might have 15 to 20. So with 100 products that Kajabi offers, I can guarantee you that 99.9% of Kajabi users probably use less than 20 products. All right. I have seen several 7-figure businesses built off of 3 products. One free product, a low tier product like $50 to $100, and then an upper product that's like $500, $1,000, $5,000, which could be your live coaching, your groups, whatever. Right. So while I get the hype around having unlimited products, it's exactly that. Most people will not need unlimited products because you still have to market it. You still have to promote, get people into it. You got to do customer support for those products. And I guarantee you, if you had hundreds of products, your support team would probably go crazy and you would not be able to properly support and market all of those products. So that's good to just get out of the way. Now, in terms of setup options with Kajabi, you get your done-for-you product templates, which makes getting up and going faster. You get your subcategories, which I showed, but allows you to have even more options as it relates to setting up your courses. You have access time limits, members only pages, and as I mentioned in the first video of the series, you have that native mobile app so people can take your course with them, access it from their phone, play it in the background as they're working out, you name it, as opposed to having just a mobile responsive browser. That might be something. Teachable, pretty much nothing for setup options. Very, very limited, nothing that stands out. And Thinkific, you have your free preview lessons. You've got your hidden private course, access time limits. However, that is only using their payment gateway. And then members only pages, one of the upper plan features. And again, Kajabi does the exact same thing. So Thinkific and Kajabi are a lot more comparable in those categories. Teachable needs some work. And then finally, when it comes to the enhancement of the learning, basically all three of them allow for the downloading of files. Kajabi stands out with their assessment feature being available on all of their plans with grading and tagging, which gives you a bit more marketing functionality. Teachable has no student uploads. However, it does have certificates and basic quizzes, and Thinkific also allows for student uploads, has a lot more customizing options when it comes to quizzes, surveys, and polls, and the certificates. And Kajabi does allow you to integrate with a free certificate provider, so that's an option. As detailed as I have tried to make this video when it comes to online course creation using Kajabi, Thinkific versus Teachable, you'll have the best feel for which is right for you by just using them for a day or so. To help you out, as I've mentioned before, I've shared my partner links for all three of the platforms below this video, which will take you to the best special offer for you to try each one of them for a limited time completely free. For example, you can get special access to Kajabi using my partner link below, which has included 45-day and 60-day free trials in the past, as well as limited time Kajabi live training programs. Also, when you create your free trial account for any of the platforms using the links below, you'll also get access to my $997 Business Breakthrough Toolkit, which I chose to host on Kajabi. This includes premium programs for getting your business results in record time, like finding a profitable niche and scaling your business faster. To learn more details about the special offers for each of the platforms and my bonus for them, just check the description below this video. For the next video in this series, I'll be revealing how Kajabi versus Thinkific versus Teachable compare when it comes to their digital marketing tools. So if you enjoyed this video and you want me to create more like it in the future, be sure to hit the like button and subscribe button right now. Also, don't forget to check out part 1 of this Kajabi versus Thinkific versus Teachable series by clicking here.